The government moved Zarevex to a special room deep under the new Anchorage facility. They called it guest quarters, but the armed guards at the door made it clear it was really a cell. Still, they allowed Olivia to continue working on the alien's armor. 3 days passed. Olivia spent most of her time with Zarevex, learning about the alien's world and technology. The armor was made of a material called Luminex that could change its properties based on the wearer's needs. It could become hard as diamond for protection or flexible as cloth for movement. Your people are centuries away from creating such materials, Zarevex explained. But you have potential. More than the sovereignty expected. Olivia looked up from her work. Your people have been watching us? Zarevex nodded. For a very long time. Earth is in a complicated region of space. Many would take advantage of your resources if they knew about you. So you've been protecting us? Olivia asked, carefully reconnecting what looked like tiny glowing wires in the armor's damaged section. In a way, we maintain a small outpost beyond your planet Neptune. From there, we monitor this solar system and keep it hidden from certain eyes. Olivia thought about this as she worked. The idea that Earth had been under alien protection all this time was both comforting and unsettling. What else didn't humans know about their own cosmic neighborhood? On the 4th day, Olivia made a breakthrough. She discovered that the armor had a kind of central network that controlled its self-repair functions. The damage had disconnected parts of this network, preventing the armor from healing itself. I think I found the problem, she told Zarevex excitedly. These crystal-like threads are like nerves. They carry information through the armor. Several of them are broken here. Zarevex watched with interest as Olivia carefully aligned the broken filaments. They were thinner than human hair and glowed with a soft blue light. Now I just need to reconnect them, Olivia muttered, more to herself than to the alien. But they're so small. She tried using tweezers, but the filaments were too delicate. Finally, she put the tools down and used her fingertips instead, gently pressing the broken ends together. As her fingers touched the center of the damaged section, something unexpected happened. The armor hummed to life. A soft blue glow spread from where her fingers made contact, and suddenly the air above them filled with glowing, floating symbols and diagrams, a holographic display of some kind. Zarevex gasped audibly, her star-filled eyes widening. What did I do? Olivia asked, worried she had made things worse. Did I break something else? No, Zarevex said, her voice filled with wonder. You awakened it. The armor recognized your neural pattern. Olivia stared at the floating symbols. I don't understand. You have what my people call the touch, a rare genetic trait that allows your nervous system to interface with our technology. Zarevex sat up, looking at Olivia with new respect. In all my centuries traveling the stars, I've encountered only 3 species with this ability. The guards in the room moved closer, hands on their weapons. One of them spoke into his radio, reporting what had happened. Is this bad? Olivia asked, suddenly aware of the tension in the room. For you? No, for your planet's security? Perhaps. Zarevex's expression became serious. The Void Hegemony values beings with your ability. They would harvest your genetic material to create interface tools for their ships. A chill ran down Olivia's spine. Harvest? A process few survive, Zarevex said grimly. Before Olivia could respond, the door burst open. Dr. Carter rushed in, followed by several government officials in suits. What happened? The sensors detected a massive energy spike, Dr. Carter demanded. One of the guards pointed to the floating hologram. The alien tech activated when Mason touched it. The officials exchanged worried glances. One of them, a stern-faced woman, stepped forward. Ms. Mason, please step away from the alien immediately. I'm not finished repairing the armor, Olivia protested. That's no longer your concern, the woman replied coldly. This situation has been classified at the highest level. You'll be debriefed and reassigned. Olivia looked at Zarevex, who gave her a subtle nod. Reluctantly, she moved away from the alien commander. The repairs are nearly complete, Zarevex told the officials. The armor will finish healing itself now that the neural network is reconnected. Good, the stern woman said. Once you're recovered, we have many questions about your technology and your people. Zarevex's face remained calm, but Olivia noticed a new tension in her posture. I will share what I can, but some knowledge is restricted. The sovereignty has strict protocols about technology transfer to developing worlds. The woman's eyes narrowed. We'll see about that. After they were escorted out, Olivia couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what Zaravex had said about the void hegemony. If they really were coming to Earth, and if they really did harvest people with her ability, then everyone was in danger, not just her. Around midnight, Olivia was startled by a loud alarm blaring throughout the facility. Red emergency lights flashed in the hallways as she jumped out of bed. Attention all personnel. Security breach in Sector 7, this is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Sector 7 was where they were keeping Zaravex. Olivia grabbed her coat and rushed into the hallway, joining the stream of confused scientists and staff. What's happening? She asked a security guard who ran past. Unknown hostiles have entered the facility, he shouted back without stopping. Get to the emergency bunker. Instead of following the others to safety, Olivia turned and ran toward Sector 7. The hallways were eerily empty, with papers scattered on the floor and abandoned coffee cups still steaming on desks. When she reached the security doors to Sector 7, she found them broken open, the metal twisted and melted as if hit by intense heat. Inside, the scene was chaos. The guards who had been watching Zaravex lay unconscious on the floor. The room where the alien had been kept was empty, the restraints torn apart. A sound behind her made Olivia turn. A tall figure stood in the doorway. But it wasn't Zaravex. This being had charred, black skin that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its eyes were glowing red slits and it had 4 arms, each ending in sharp claw-like fingers. Human. It hissed in a voice that sounded like crackling fire. You bear the neural marker. You will come with us. Olivia backed away, looking frantically for a weapon or escape route. Who are you? We are the Void. The sovereignty commander is ours. And now so are you. As the creature moved toward her, a blur of motion came from behind it. Suddenly, Zaravex was there, fully armored and moving with incredible speed. Her armor glowed with blue-violet light as she grabbed the creature and threw it across the room. Olivia, run! Zaravex shouted, her voice distorted by her helmet. The black creature recovered quickly, lunging at Zaravex with all 4 arms. They crashed into equipment, sending sparks flying. Olivia should have run, but she couldn't leave Zaravex to fight alone. Looking around, she spotted a fire extinguisher on the wall. She grabbed it, and when the creature pinned Zaravex against a wall, Olivia swung with all her strength. The metal canister connected with the creature's head with a sickening crunch. It stumbled back, giving Zaravex the opening she needed. The alien commander's armor seemed to flow like liquid, forming a sharp blade at her wrist. With one swift motion, she slashed at the creature's chest. A terrible shriek filled the room and the being collapsed, its red eyes dimming. Zaravex turned to Olivia, her helmet retracting to reveal her face. More will come. The hegemony has found Earth. What do we do? Olivia asked, her heart racing. I need to return to my ship. It has a long-range communicator. I must warn the Sovereignty outpost. Your ship is still at the crash site. It's miles away and surrounded by soldiers. Zaravex nodded grimly. Then we'll need transportation, Olivia thought quickly. There's a garage on the lower level with research vehicles. I have access. As they moved through the facility, they encountered more signs of battle. Several more of the black creatures lay dead, along with human security personnel. Zaravex moved with purpose, checking each corner before proceeding. The hegemony sent a scout ship, she explained as they hurried down a stairwell, a standard tactic when tracking valuable targets. Valuable targets? You mean me? Olivia asked both of us. Me for my knowledge of sovereignty defenses, you for your neural compatibility. Zaravex paused, looking directly at Olivia. I'm sorry I've brought this danger to your world. You crashed here by accident, Olivia said. It's not your fault. Zaravex's expression suggested there was more to the story, but she simply nodded and continued moving. They reached the garage without encountering more enemies. Olivia used her keycard to open the doors, revealing several rugged all-terrain vehicles designed for Alaska's harsh environment. Can you drive one of these? Zaravex asked. Yes, Olivia said, grabbing keys from a lockbox on the wall. But once we leave, they'll know where we've gone. They'll follow us. Zaravex's armor shifted, revealing a small compartment from which she removed a device the size of a coin. This will disable their tracking systems temporarily. It won't last long, so we must move quickly. As they climbed into one of the vehicles, Olivia realized she was about to become a fugitive, helping an alien escape from her own government. Olivia Mason loved the quiet of Alaska. She worked at the new Anchorage research facility, far from any big city. As a metal engineer, she spent her days testing new metals that could survive in harsh places. Her small lab was her world, and she was happy there. The night everything changed started like any other. Olivia was working late, running tests on a new metal blend. The clock on the wall showed 11:43 p.m. when the first alarm rang. The sound made her jump, dropping her tools with a clatter. Warning: unidentified object entering Earth's atmosphere. All personnel to safety stations, the overhead voice announced. Olivia rushed to the window. A bright streak of light cut across the night sky. It wasn't a shooting star. It was too big, too bright, and moving too strangely. The object seemed to slow down before it disappeared behind the mountains. Her phone buzzed. It was her boss, Dr. Carter. Olivia, get to the main hall now. The security team is heading out to the crash site. I want you there. Me? Why? She asked, already pulling on her heavy coat. Because if it's what I think it is, we'll need someone who knows metals. Now hurry. 20 minutes later, Olivia sat in a military jeep with 5 armed guards bouncing over the snowy terrain. No one spoke. The headlights cut through the darkness, revealing more snow and trees. There, the driver said, pointing. In a small clearing ahead, something had made a deep trench in the earth and snow. Steam rose from the ground. As they got closer, Olivia saw it wasn't a meteor. It was a ship, sleek, dark, and unlike any aircraft she had ever seen. Stay back, the lead guard ordered as they approached. He had his gun ready. The surface of the ship seemed to shift colors like oil on water. No seams, no rivets, no signs of how it was put together. It was simply one smooth piece. Then a section of the hull slid open. The guards raised their weapons. Hold fire! Dr. Carter's voice came from behind them. He had followed in another vehicle. A figure emerged from the ship. Tall, at least 7 feet, and covered in armor that matched the ship's strange, shifting colors. The being moved carefully, one hand pressed against its side where the armor was cracked and damaged. When the figure removed its helmet, everyone gasped. The being looked almost human, but with skin that shifted between deep blue and purple. Its eyes were large and seemed to contain moving lights like stars in a night sky. I mean no harm, the being said in perfect English, though its mouth moved strangely with the words. My ship was damaged. I need shelter and assistance. Dr. Carter stepped forward, hands raised to show he carried no weapon. I am Dr. Robert Carter. This is Earth. You're welcome here, but we have questions. The alien nodded, then winced in pain. Now Olivia could see that something dark and thick was seeping from between the damaged plates of armor. The questions can wait, Olivia said, stepping forward despite the guard's protests. You're hurt. The alien's star-filled eyes turned to her. My armor's self-repair function is damaged. Without it, I am vulnerable. I'm Olivia Mason. I work with metals. Maybe I can help fix your armor. The alien studied her for a long moment. You would assist me? You don't know who or what I am. I know you're injured and a long way from home, Olivia replied. That's enough for now. A small smile formed on the alien's face. I am Zara Vex, commander of the Celestial Sovereignty Fleet. She straightened up despite her pain. And I accept your help, Olivia Mason of Earth. Within hours, the government had arrived. Men in black suits set up a special tent around the crash site. They brought in equipment and put guards everywhere. Olivia watched as they carefully moved Zara Vex to a medical area. You can't just lock her up, Olivia argued with one of the men in suits. She came here for help. We're not locking anyone up, the man said coldly. We're containing a potential threat until we know more. She's injured. And we'll treat her injuries. But that armor comes off first. We need to know what we're dealing with. Olivia shook her head. She said the armor is connected to her somehow. Taking it off might hurt her more. The man's face hardened. Then you better figure out how to remove it safely, Ms. Mason. You're the metal expert after all. That was how Olivia found herself in a makeshift lab with Zara Vex lying on a table before her. Government scientists hovered nearby, but they seemed afraid to touch the alien or her strange armor. The damage is here and here, Zara Vex said, pointing to her side and shoulder. The armor is alive in a way you might not understand. It bonds with the wearer. Olivia nodded, studying the damaged sections. The metal, if it was metal at all, seemed to flow slightly, like very slow liquid. What happened to you? She asked quietly, reaching for her tools. Zara Vex's eyes darkened. War happened. My ship was attacked by the Void Hegemony. They are conquerors, they destroy worlds. And now they know about Earth? Olivia's hands froze. They're coming here? Not yet, but they will. My people have kept your world hidden for centuries. Now that protection may be broken. A chill ran down Olivia's spine. She looked at her simple tools, then at the advanced armor before her. I don't know if I can fix this. It's way beyond our technology. You don't need to understand it completely, Zaravek said. Just help it heal enough that it can finish the repair itself. Olivia took a deep breath and began working, examining the damaged sections closely. The government scientists watched her every move, taking notes and whispering to each other. For hours she worked carefully, testing different approaches. The armor responded strangely to heat, growing warmer in some places but cooler in others. When she tried to pry a damaged section away to see underneath, Zaravek gasped in pain. I'm sorry. Olivia pulled back immediately. It's all right, Zaravek said. You couldn't know. The armor is connected to my nervous system. Olivia nodded, thinking. So it's like a second skin? More than that. It enhances my strength, heals my wounds, and connects me to my ship. As night turned to morning, Olivia grew tired but refused to stop. There was something fascinating about the armor, about Zaravek herself. Here was proof that humans weren't alone in the universe, and according to Zaravek, they were now in danger. Finally, as dawn broke over the mountains, Olivia had an idea. Instead of trying to remove the damaged sections, she carefully placed her hands on the largest crack and simply held them there, feeling the strange warmth of the material. What are you doing? One of the scientists asked. I'm trying something, Olivia said quietly. It reacts to body heat. Maybe it needs connection. Under her fingers, the armor suddenly felt different. A tiny vibration, almost like a purr, ran through it. The edges of the crack seemed to move ever so slightly toward each other. Zaravek's eyes widened. How did you know to do that? Olivia shook her head, amazed. I didn't, I just tried what felt right. The alien commander stared at her with new interest. Very few species have ever been able to connect with our technology this way. It seems, Olivia Mason, that you have a rare gift. The sun was just beginning to rise as Olivia drove the research vehicle through the snowy Alaskan wilderness. Next to her, Zaravek kept watch, her armor's sensors scanning for threats. They had been driving for nearly 3 hours, taking back roads to avoid detection. We're getting close to the crash site, Olivia said, gripping the steering wheel tightly. Her hands were shaking, partly from cold and partly from fear. But there will be military personnel guarding your ship, Zaravek nodded. We will need a distraction. The alien commander had been quiet for most of the journey, occasionally touching the control panel on her arm to check readings only she could understand. Now she turned to look at Olivia. You have shown great courage, Zaravek said. Few would risk their safety for a being from another world. Olivia kept her eyes on the rough road ahead. I saw those creatures that attacked the facility. If more are coming, Earth needs to know. The hegemony will send more than just scouts next time, Zaravek warned. They know I'm here and they know about you. Their main fleet could arrive within days. The thought made Olivia's stomach clench with fear.
Can your people help us?
If I can reach my ship and contact the Neptune outpost, yes. The sovereignty has protected your solar system for centuries. They will not abandon Earth now. As they crested a hill, the crash site came into view in the valley below. Military vehicles surrounded the area, and a large tent had been erected over Zaravek's ship. Armed soldiers patrolled the perimeter. There are at least 20 guards, Olivia said, stopping the vehicle behind a stand of pine trees where they wouldn't be visible. How are we going to get past them? Zaravek studied the scene below. I could fight my way through, but I would prefer to avoid harming your people. They're just doing their jobs, Olivia agreed. We need another way. Looking around, she noticed a fuel depot at the edge of the camp. Large tanks that supplied the generators and vehicles. An idea formed in her mind. If we could create a fire at the fuel depot, it would draw everyone's attention. They'd have to respond to prevent an explosion. Zaravek considered this. I can hit the tanks from here with a focused energy pulse. It would damage the tanks without causing a catastrophic explosion. You can do that? Olivia asked, impressed. In response, Zaravek's armor shifted, forming what looked like a small cannon on her forearm. Sovereignty combat armor has many capabilities. Stand back. Olivia moved away as Zaravek took aim at the distant fuel tanks. A soft humming sound grew from the alien's armor, and then a beam of blue light shot from her arm. A moment later, one of the fuel tanks began smoking. Alarms blared across the camp. Soldiers ran toward the fuel depot just as Zarovex had predicted. Now, the alien commander said, her armor reconfiguring back to normal. We must move quickly. They made their way down the hill, using the trees for cover. Most of the soldiers were focused on the smoking fuel tank, trying to prevent a fire from spreading. Zarovex moved with incredible grace, her steps silent despite her size and the snow underfoot. When they reached the edge of the camp, they paused behind a supply truck. Only 2 guards remained near the tent covering the ship. I will handle them, Zarovex whispered. Wait for my signal. Before Olivia could respond, the alien was gone, moving faster than seemed possible. She watched in amazement as Zarovex appeared behind the first guard, touching something on his neck that made him collapse instantly. The second guard didn't even have time to raise his weapon before receiving the same treatment. Zarovex waved Olivia forward. They are merely unconscious. They will recover soon. Together, they entered the tent. Zarovex's ship looked much as it had when Olivia first saw it, though now various scanning devices and cables had been attached to its surface by human scientists, trying to understand its technology. They've been trying to get inside, Olivia said, pointing to tools scattered around what appeared to be the ship's entrance. They would not succeed, Zarovex said with a hint of pride. The ship responds only to me, and perhaps to you, now that your neural compatibility is known. The alien commander placed her hand on the ship's smooth surface. The area around her palm glowed, and a section of the hull simply vanished, revealing an entrance. Come, she said, offering her hand to Olivia. We don't have much time. Olivia hesitated only briefly before taking Zarovex's hand and stepping into the alien craft. Inside, the ship was unlike anything she had imagined. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with soft light. There were no visible controls, just smooth surfaces that curved organically. This is amazing, Olivia breathed, turning slowly to take it all in. The ship is grown, not built, Zarovex explained, moving toward what must be the control center. It is partly alive, with systems based on the same principles as my armor. As Zarovex placed her hands on a glowing panel, the ship hummed to life. Lights brightened and strange symbols appeared in the air, more holograms like the ones Olivia had seen when she touched the armor. Can you contact your people? Olivia asked. The communication system was damaged in the attack. I need to repair it. Zarovex turned to her. And I may need your help. Outside they could hear shouting. The soldiers had discovered the unconscious guards and realized something was wrong at the ship. We don't have much time, Olivia said anxiously. Zarovex nodded. Place your hands here next to mine. Olivia did as instructed, placing her palms on the smooth, warm surface of the control panel. Immediately she felt a tingling sensation run up her arms. The holographic displays changed, responding to her touch. Focus your thoughts on connection, Zarovex instructed. Imagine reaching out across space. It seemed impossible, but Olivia tried. She closed her eyes and pictured sending a message to the stars. Beneath her hands, the ship pulsed with energy. It's working, Zarovex said with surprise. Your neural pattern is amplifying the signal. Suddenly, the holographic display shifted, showing what looked like a map of the solar system. A point of light pulsed near Neptune. The outpost has received our signal, Zarovex said. They will send help. A loud bang from outside interrupted them. The soldiers were trying to break into the ship. We need to leave, Zarovex said, her hands moving across different panels. The ship's propulsion system is still functional. Leave, Olivia echoed. You mean take off? But what about me? I can't just leave Earth. Zarovex looked at her with those star-filled eyes. The hegemony knows about you now. They will hunt you for your ability. You are not safe here. The ship shuddered as something struck its outer hull. The soldiers were using heavier weapons now. If you stay, they will find you, Zarovex continued. And they will take what they want from you, regardless of whether you survive the process. Olivia's mind raced. Everything was happening too fast. Leave Earth? Leave her home, her job, everything she knew? What about my planet? The people here? The sovereignty will protect Earth, but right now we must protect you. Another impact rocked the ship. A warning symbol flashed in the holographic display. We're out of time, Zarovex said urgently. Olivia, I need your decision. Olivia thought of her small apartment in New Anchorage, her lab at the research facility, her few friends. She thought of the black-skinned creature with glowing red eyes that had come for her. She thought of what Zarovex had told her about the hegemony. and what they did to people with her ability. "I'll go with you," she said finally, her voice trembling slightly, "but I want your word that we'll do everything possible to protect Earth." "You have it," Zarovek said solemnly. "Now hold on to something. The launch may be rough." Olivia grabbed onto a ridge in the wall as Zarovek activated the ship's systems. The humming grew louder, and the entire craft began to vibrate. Outside, she could hear shouts of alarm as the soldiers realized what was happening. With a sudden lurch, the ship rose. The tent covering them tore away, revealing the Alaskan morning sky. Olivia caught a glimpse of soldiers running back, weapons raised, before the ship shot upward with incredible speed. The force of acceleration pressed Olivia against the wall, but it wasn't as bad as she had expected. Some kind of artificial gravity seemed to be protecting her from the worst effects. Within seconds, the blue sky darkened to black, and stars appeared all around them. Olivia gasped as Earth came into view below them, a beautiful blue and white sphere. "I've never," she began, but words failed her. Tears formed in her eyes at the sight of her home planet from space. Zarovek moved to stand beside her. "The first journey beyond one's homeworld is always remembered," she said softly. "It changes how you see everything." A red light flashed on one of the displays, accompanied by a harsh beeping sound. "What's that?" Olivia asked, wiping her eyes. Zarovek's expression darkened. "Long-range sensors. They've detected hegemony ships entering your solar system." "Already? You said we had days." "They must have been closer than I thought." Zarovek returned to the controls. "We need to reach the Neptune outpost before they intercept us." The ship accelerated further, Earth shrinking behind them as they sped toward the outer planets. Olivia watched in wonder as they passed the moon, then Mars, its red surface stark against the blackness of space. "How long will it take to reach Neptune?" she asked. "In a Sovereignty scout ship at full power?" "Less than 12 of your Earth hours. But we're not at full power, and we may need to evade hegemony patrols." The journey to Neptune took longer than expected. Twice they had to hide the ship behind moons or asteroids to avoid hegemony scout vessels. Zarovek used these moments to teach Olivia about the ship's systems and her armor. "The more you understand our technology, the more effectively you can interface with it," the alien commander explained. Olivia proved to be a quick learner. By the time they reached the outer solar system, she could activate basic ship functions with just her touch and thought. It was strange how natural it felt, as if the alien technology was an extension of her own body. "There," Zarovek said, pointing to a holographic display showing Neptune's blue sphere and its moons. "The outpost is on Triton." Olivia peered at the image. "I don't see anything." "It's designed to be invisible to Earth's detection methods. Watch." Zarovek touched a series of controls, and the ship sent out a signal. The display changed, revealing a structure built into one of Triton's large craters. It blended perfectly with the surrounding ice and rock, nearly impossible to spot unless you knew exactly what to look for. "It's huge," Olivia gasped, seeing the true scale of the base. "It houses around 500 Sovereignty personnel from 12 different species," Zarovek said. "They monitor the solar system and others nearby." As they approached, a section of what looked like solid ice slid open, revealing a docking bay. Zarovek guided the ship inside with practiced ease. When the outer doors closed behind them, atmosphere filled the bay and lights came on, illuminating several other ships of various designs. "Stay close to me," Zarovek advised as the ship's entrance opened. "Some of the species here may look alarming to you, but none will harm you while you're under my protection." Olivia nodded nervously, following Zarovek out of the ship. The gravity felt lighter than Earth's, making her steps bouncy and awkward compared to the alien commander's graceful movements. They were met by a group of beings so diverse that Olivia had to force herself not to stare. One looked like a tall insect with 4 arms and compound eyes. Another was short and stocky, with rocky skin that seemed to shift and crack as it moved. A third appeared almost human, except for its silvery skin and lack of a visible mouth. "Commander Zarovek," the insect-like being clicked, its voice translated by a small device at its throat. "We received your emergency signal. The station commander is waiting." Zarovek nodded. "This is Olivia Mason of Earth. She has the touch and helped repair my armor and ship. She is under my protection." The beings looked at Olivia with new interest. The silver-skinned one leaned closer, its eyes widening. "Another compatible species," it said in a melodic voice. The hegemony will not be pleased. The hegemony already knows, Zarovex replied grimly. They've entered this system with at least 3 scout ships. Their main fleet can't be far behind. This news caused visible alarm among the welcoming party. The insect being's antennae quivered anxiously. Come quickly, it said. The station commander must hear this. They were led through corridors that seemed to be carved from Triton's ice, but lined with technology that pulsed with the same living quality as Zarovex's ship. Olivia noticed that doors opened automatically as they approached, responding to Zarovex's presence, or perhaps to her own. The station commander was unlike any of the beings Olivia had seen so far. It towered over even Zarovex, its body composed of what appeared to be living crystal. Light moved through its transparent form in complex patterns, and when it spoke, its entire body resonated. Commander Zarovex, we feared you lost when your signal disappeared. Its voice sounded like chimes in the wind. And you bring a human. This is unexpected. Station Commander Xylos, this is Olivia Mason, Zarovex introduced her. She has the neural compatibility. She helped repair my armor and ship when I crashed on Earth. The crystalline being's lights pulsed more rapidly. Show me. Zarovex turned to Olivia. Place your hand on that control panel. Olivia approached the indicated panel, which glowed softly on a nearby wall. She hesitated only briefly before pressing her palm against it. Immediately the panel brightened, and holographic displays sprang to life around her hand. Extraordinary, Xylos resonated. The compatibility is strong in this one. The hegemony knows, Zarovex said, bringing them back to the urgent matter. They attacked me near the Lyra system, then tracked me to Earth. Their scouts are already in this solar system. Xylos's crystalline body darkened. This changes everything. Earth was to remain under observation for at least another century before contact. It's too late for that now, Zarovex said. Earth needs the sovereignty's protection. I will alert Sovereignty Command, Xylos decided. But reinforcements would take at least 3 standard cycles to arrive, approximately 3 Earth days. The hegemony could be here in less time than that, Zarovex warned. Then we must prepare with what we have. Xylos turned to address the other aliens in the room. Begin evacuation protocols for non-essential personnel. Activate all defense systems. Send urgent messages to any sovereignty vessels in neighboring sectors. As the others hurried to carry out these orders, Xylos focused on Olivia again. The human must be tested. If her compatibility is as strong as it appears, she could be valuable in the coming conflict. Tested? Olivia asked nervously. To measure the extent of your neural interface abilities, Zarovex explained. The process is not harmful. Olivia looked between the alien commander and the crystalline station leader. If it helps protect Earth, I'll do it. The testing began immediately. Olivia was taken to a chamber filled with various pieces of sovereignty technology. Control panels, weapon systems, even a small ship engine. For hours, she placed her hands on each item, trying to activate and control them with her mind. Some responded instantly to her touch, lighting up and functioning perfectly. Others took more concentration. A few didn't respond at all. The compatibility varies with different systems, observed a small, rodent-like alien who was overseeing the tests. But her overall rating is exceptional, level 4 of 5. Zarovex, who had stayed to watch the testing, looked impressed. Even among the Lyrans, few scored above level 3. What does that mean exactly? Olivia asked, flexing her fingers after a particularly intense connection with a navigation system. It means you can interface with most sovereignty technology at an advanced level, the rodent alien explained. With training, you could pilot ships, operate weapons systems, even repair complex machinery with just your touch. The hegemony would consider you extremely valuable, Zarovex added quietly. After the testing, Olivia was given quarters to rest. The room adjusted itself to Earth-like conditions when she entered, the temperature rising and gravity increasing slightly to make her more comfortable. Too tired to marvel at this, she collapsed onto the bed-like platform, which molded itself to her body. She had almost drifted off to sleep when there was a soft chime at her door. It slid open to reveal Zarovex no longer in her full armor, but wearing what appeared to be a simpler version, perhaps the equivalent of casual clothing. May I enter? The alien commander asked. Of course. Olivia sat up, suddenly aware of how strange everything was. Here she was on a moon of Neptune in an alien base, talking to a blue-skinned warrior from the stars. Zaravek sat beside her on the edge of the bed. "You should know that the tests confirmed what I suspected. Your neural compatibility is rare, even among species known for the trait. Is that good or bad? Both. It makes you valuable to the sovereignty and to the hegemony." Zaravex's star-filled eyes studied her. "It also means our connection is not merely chance." "What do you mean?" Zaravek seemed to choose her words carefully. "Among my people, the sharing of the touch is significant. When one can interface with another's armor, enhance it as you did with mine, it indicates a rare compatibility, not just with the technology, but between individuals." Olivia felt her cheeks warm. "Like a special connection?" "Yes, in your terms it might be compared to..." Zaravex hesitated. "Soulmates?" Olivia suggested, then immediately felt foolish. To her surprise, Zaravex nodded. "A simplified concept, but essentially correct. Our minds resonate at compatible frequencies. It is why you learn to interface with the ship so quickly." Olivia didn't know how to respond to this revelation. Before she could form a coherent thought, an alarm blared throughout the station. Zaravex was instantly alert, her casual demeanor vanishing as she stood. "They're here." "The hegemony?" Olivia asked, though she already knew the answer. "Come with me to the command center. Your abilities may be needed." The command center was a flurry of activity when they arrived. Holographic displays showed multiple ships approaching Neptune. They were dark, angular vessels that seemed to absorb rather than reflect the distant sunlight. 3 battle cruisers and 5 destroyers, reported one of the operators. "They will reach defensive perimeter in 20 minutes. Xylos's crystalline body pulsed with rapid patterns of light. "Our sensors detect no additional hegemony ships in the system. This may be an advance force rather than their main fleet. It's still more than we can handle with just the outpost's defenses," Zaravek said grimly. "We have 2 patrol ships currently docked, plus your scout vessel," Xylos noted. "Not enough for direct engagement, but perhaps enough to hold them until reinforcements arrive." The battle raged around Neptune's orbit. Through the Nexus chair, Olivia experienced the conflict in a way no human ever had before. She didn't just see the enemy ships firing. She felt each energy blast as it struck the outpost shields. She didn't just watch Zaravex's squadron evade enemy fire. She sensed their movements as if they were dancers following a complex pattern she somehow understood. "Shields at 80% and holding," reported a technician nearby, sounding surprised. "The human is managing the power distribution better than our trained operators." Olivia barely heard him. Her consciousness was spread across the station's systems, instinctively routing power where it was needed most. When a hegemony destroyer focused its weapons on the eastern quadrant, she thickened the shields there seconds before impact. When enemy fighters tried to slip through a gap in the defensive screen, she activated point defense weapons to drive them back. Through it all, she kept track of Zaravex's ship, watching as the alien commander led daring attack runs against the hegemony vessels. The scout ship was faster and more maneuverable than the patrol craft, allowing Zaravex to get dangerously close to the enemy before unleashing her weapons. "Commander Zaravex is targeting the lead battlecruiser's propulsion systems," someone reported. "If she can disable it, the enemy formation will be disrupted." Olivia watched through the station's sensors as Zaravex's ship darted between enemy fire, spinning and weaving in ways that seemed impossible. The scout ship reached the battlecruiser's vulnerable rear section and fired a concentrated energy beam that cut through the larger vessel's armor. "Direct hit," Zaravex's voice came through the communication system, triumphant. "Their main engines are..." Her transmission cut off as a hegemony destroyer suddenly changed course, positioning itself to fire directly at her small craft. Olivia sensed the energy building in the destroyer's main weapon, a devastating blast that would vaporize Zaravex's ship if it hit. Without conscious thought, Olivia diverted power from the station's non-essential systems to a single long-range weapon emplacement. The massive cannon charged in seconds rather than minutes, and fired a powerful beam that struck the hegemony destroyer's weapon array, just as it was about to fire at Zaravex. The resulting explosion tore through the destroyer's hull, crippling the vessel. Zaravex's ship escaped the blast radius, looping around to rejoin the other patrol craft. "Impressive shot," Zaravex's voice returned. a note of surprise evident. I didn't know the station had weapons with that range and power. They don't normally, replied one of the technicians, staring at Olivia with new respect. She reconfigured the energy matrix to boost the output beyond design specifications. The battle continued for what felt like hours, though Olivia later learned it was less than 40 minutes. The hegemony forces pressed their attack, but the combination of Zaravex's skilled leadership and Olivia's intuitive control of the station's defenses kept them at bay. Then, just as the outpost's shields were beginning to fail under the relentless bombardment, new signals appeared on the long-range sensors. Sovereignty vessels detected entering the system, announced a jubilant voice. 3 cruisers and their escort ships. Reinforcements have arrived? The hegemony ships immediately began to retreat, breaking off their attack and moving away from Neptune at maximum speed. Only the damaged battlecruiser remained, unable to flee with its propulsion systems destroyed. As the Sovereignty reinforcements approached, Olivia felt a sudden, sharp pain behind her eyes. Her connection to the station's systems began to waver. Neural stress levels critical, a technician warned. She needs to disconnect now. Olivia tried to release her grip on the Nexus chair's contact points, but her hands seemed frozen in place. The pain increased, spreading from her head down her spine. Through the haze of agony, she could still sense Zaravex's ship returning to the station, moving faster than the other patrol craft. Get her out of that chair, she heard Zaravex shout, the alien's voice somehow cutting through the noise in Olivia's mind. Then everything went black. Olivia woke slowly, aware first of a soft humming sound, then of gentle blue light filtering through her eyelids. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in what appeared to be a medical bay. The walls pulsed with the living quality she had come to associate with Sovereignty technology. "You're awake," said a familiar voice. Turning her head, Olivia saw Zaravex sitting beside her bed. The alien commander looked tired, if such a thing was possible for her species. Her normally vibrant skin seemed paler and her star-filled eyes were dimmed. "Did we win?" Olivia asked, her voice raspy. Zaravex's mouth curved in that almost smile Olivia had come to recognize. "Yes. The hegemony advance force has been driven back. The reinforcements arrived just in time." "Good." Olivia tried to sit up, but a wave of dizziness forced her back down. "Careful," Zaravex cautioned. The neural load from the Nexus chair was significant. "The medical team says you need rest." "How long was I unconscious?" "Nearly 16 Earth hours." I was concerned. Something in Zaravex's tone made Olivia look at her more closely. The alien warrior seemed unusually vulnerable, her typically confident demeanor replaced by something almost hesitant. "You saved my life," Zaravex continued. "That destroyer would have destroyed my ship if you hadn't intervened." "You'd have done the same for me," Olivia replied. "Yes. But it is rare to find such loyalty in one who has known me for so short a time." Before Olivia could respond, the door to the medical bay slid open. Commander Xylos entered, the crystalline being's body glowing with bright, complex patterns. "The human awakens," Xylos resonated. "Good, there is much to discuss." Zaravex stood respectfully. "Station Commander." "The Sovereignty Council has received our report," Xylos announced. "They are most interested in what has occurred here, particularly in you, Olivia Mason." "Me?" Olivia managed to sit up this time, fighting through the dizziness. "Your neural compatibility exceeds any we have documented in centuries," Xylos explained. "And your natural ability to optimize our systems is unprecedented. During the battle, you improved our defensive capabilities by 27%, simply through intuitive adjustments." "I just did what felt right," Olivia said, embarrassed by the attention. "That is precisely what makes it remarkable," Xylos continued. "What takes our engineers years of training you accomplished through instinct alone." The crystalline commander moved closer to her bed. "The Council has authorized me to offer you a position within the Sovereignty. You would be trained to use your abilities and could serve as a bridge between our peoples." Olivia blinked in surprise. "What about Earth? The hegemony will still come after them, won't they?" "That is the other matter I came to discuss," Xylos said. "A diplomatic envoy is being prepared. The Sovereignty Council has decided to formally offer Earth protection and alliance." "They're going to reveal themselves to humans?" Olivia asked, shocked. "I thought you said Earth wasn't ready." "Circumstances have changed," Xylos resonated. The hegemony knows of Earth now. Hiding is no longer an option. Better to approach your leaders directly than to let them face the hegemony unprepared. Olivia thought about what this meant. After thousands of years of wondering if they were alone in the universe, humans would finally have their answer. The revelation would change everything: science, religion, politics, everyday life. Nothing would ever be the same. There will be fear, she said quietly. Many humans will be afraid. Yes, Zarovex agreed. Change of this magnitude is always frightening. But fear can be overcome with understanding. That is where you could be most valuable. Me? As someone who has experienced both worlds, Zarovex explained. Someone who can translate between cultures. A bridge, as Xylo said. The idea was both terrifying and exhilarating. Olivia Mason, ordinary metallurgical engineer from Alaska, potentially becoming humanity's first ambassador to an interstellar civilization. I need time to think, she said finally. Of course, Xylos resonated sympathetically. Rest and recover. We will speak again when you are stronger. The crystalline commander left, leaving Olivia alone with Zarovex once more. The alien warrior remained standing, seeming unusually hesitant. There is something else you should consider, Zarovex said after a moment of silence. A more personal matter, what is it? Olivia asked. Zarovex moved closer to the bed. As I mentioned before, the connection between us, the way you can interface with my armor, enhance its capabilities, such a bond is rare and valued among my people. You said it was like being soulmates, Olivia remembered. A simplified comparison, but yes. Zarovex seemed to struggle with her words, unusual for the normally composed commander. In my culture, such pairs often form lifelong partnerships. They fight together, live together, explore the stars together. Olivia's heart beat faster as she realized what Zarovex was suggesting. Are you asking me to consider remaining with me? Zarovex confirmed. And not just as a representative of Earth or a sovereignty asset, but as my partner, my companion. The offer left Olivia speechless. Just days ago, her biggest concern had been completing her research project on time. Now she was being offered a life among the stars with this fascinating alien warrior who had crashed into her world and changed everything.